Good evening. See how many people we have in here right now. How's it going this afternoon, guys? Anybody else in here? Who else we got? Welcome, guys, on Twitch, YouTube. Give a few more minutes here for everybody to get in that's going to be showing up. This is our first live stream, and I want to try to get as many people in as we possibly can. Want to take a minute to apologize if it's not the best live stream in the world. This is going to be our very first one. We've had a couple of videos from several of our drivers that have been uploaded, but as far as doing an actual live stream in front of a boatload of people, this is going to be the first one that I have ever done, and we'll see. So trying to make sure I have everything going and that everything is being properly broadcasted to all of our channels that we have active. And it looks as though that we are. Afternoon, Jeff. Hopefully you're feeling better. Yeah. How's it going, Dawn? You enjoying your evening? Curtis says he was going to come in. I don't know if he's in here yet. Curtis, you in? Hi, Jordan. How you doing this afternoon? is everybody hearing me okay? Do I have my mic turned on? Does it sound pretty decent? Let me know how we're sounding, how everything's going. I do believe I have it set up on a delay, so I sound good. Is it equity? Is it echoing at all, Jordan? Does it sound decent? Do I need to do anything with my sound? Okay. You don't think that I need to do anything with the sound, or you would suggest something needs a change with the sound, Don? No echoing? Okay, that's great. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get everything started. I know we're running about 10 minutes behind. I apologize for all of that. Yes, I misspoke. It's not equity. It's, yeah, okay. Okay, I appreciate it, guys. All right. Hey, thanks a lot. And apparently we've got an office cat that's coming in to try to say hello. That's funny. Come here, Gizmo. Come here. And now she's going to run away. That's all right. Okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this thing started. I know I've said that a couple times now. Anyways, my name is Dan Stouffer. I am the actual owner of FLQ Transportation Group and freeloadquote.com. We are a small hotshot company based out of Hicksville, Ohio, as many of you know. We strive on many different aspects, but one of the most important is this little sign back here. Right there. We don't like to give any excuses. We like to give results. We try to take care of each and every one of our drivers and pretty much go from there. Being that this is our first podcast, basically this is just an entry, live stream. I don't know. I don't actually know where to begin, and I'd like to have some information and from some feedback of where we could, what we need to go and what we need to do. He went out. They left. So. I really don't know where to go. Dawn, give me a suggestion here. What direction do I need to go? Where do I need to start? And we're up to 6 people now.
How we doing?
Doing okay, bub. How you doing?
I'm doing peachy.
Awesome. You're gonna have a seat?
What are we talking about? Equity?
We're not talking about equity at all right now. Echoing. You want to have a seat?
No, a minute.
All right. Well, that's good. So now you're putting me on the spot. Now I'm nervous.
What? So what you talking about? How many followers you got?
We're up to 6 right now.
6.
6 people.
Six. And where are these 6 people from?
I don't know where they're from. All right, so here's one of our village people that Earth is flat. Hey, Casey, how's it going, bub? Did you make it home okay? The Earth is flat. I like that comment. You guys are amazing.
What are you looking for?
What I'm looking for, Don, is just a topic. What are we going to have as a topic tonight? What do you guys want to have as a topic tonight? And let's go ahead and try to get this party started somewhat. No politics. We're keeping all that out of the mix. I know there's a little bit of a delay.
There's a lot of delay with
There's
you.
a lot of delay with me, isn't there?
There's a lot of delay
It's all right.
with you.
You need to kind of watch that. I don't want that in here.
What's that? They can't even see me.
I know. Just saying.
He's like trying to be a father figure, peeps.
I'm not trying to be a father figure. That's a very good one, Don. You think it'd be a good idea to just show the website and kind of talk about it one by one? I think that would be a great way to do it. Let me go ahead and switch over to my...
That is way too cheesy, dude.
What?
I think that'd be a great way to do it.
Well, we do. Yes, that's Bub. He's going to irritate me. That's okay, though.
Have you told him about cooking on Fridays?
Not yet. Not yet. We're not doing that. Okay, so we're going to go over here to our desktop monitor. And, of course, I've got that up, which I probably shouldn't have that up, but that's okay.
Working out the bugs here, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
we're working out the bugs. All right, so we're going to go over here to our drivers and owner-operators. So once again, my name is Dan Stouffer. These are our required driver qualifications. And we need to follow these pretty closely. One of the biggest problems that we have in the industry right now is there's a lot of underage drivers. We would love to work with you. The issue of it is, though, is when it comes to insurance, insurance literally kills, and that's what makes or breaks this industry. Insurance is probably one of the largest expenses that you're going to be faced with any type of transportation company. In order to get around that hurdle, you've got to have some sort of a driving record, and that typically starts about the 24 years of age. It's not to say that some companies won't work with you, but for us, we have to have a minimum of a 24 years of age. There's times where we can squeeze you in at 23, but you've got to be married, and you have to have a perfect driving history. There's
pristine.
A pristine. It has to be very, very clean. Again, you got to have a clean motor vehicle record. If you're 23 years of age, or even at 24 years of age, and you have any driver suspensions on your license whatsoever, we can't work with you. Insurance would kill us, and we can't do it. All right. Ideally, we're going to be looking for somebody that has no felonies within the last 8 years. There are some states that do have certain regulations in regards to felony backgrounds. I don't want to get into that. We evaluate each felony a little bit differently. In our opinion, some felonies have different weights than others. But the one thing that I will say is if you've ever been convicted of trafficking, for like a human trafficking conviction or some sort of a drug, narcotics, we will not work with you. We'll basically take your application and we will throw it in the trash.
Shredder first.
Shredder, trash, whatever. Yeah. Second, then you're going to have to end up being able to complete a drug test. It is amazing to me these days of how many people that cannot do this. We are ran by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, and we have to follow all the guidelines.
So, Dan, a question on that drug test. How many panel drug test is that? Is that a 6-panel or what?
Basically, all we do is we just take urine right now. However, we do have the option so that we can actually take hair follicle. Typically, though, we're not going to do a hair follicle on a new hire. Typically, we're just going to do just your standard urine. However, if we get to know you and there are issues, we could do a hair follicle at a later time.
Understand.
So,
thanks.
Okay. Now, I've been asked this on several different times. What do we do in the event for some of the states that actually offer legal marijuana usage, or recreational use, or CBD oil, or something like that? Okay, so here you have to understand that when you're dealing with the states, they have their own laws regarding marijuana usage. Anything having to do with CBD oil technically could possibly put THC in your system. In any event, it is dictated by the federal standards and not your local and state standards. If you take a drug test and you're in one of those states and you come back and you tell me that you've done it for recreational use and you fail the drug test, because it's a federally regulated entity, we can't work with you. You will actually fail that drug test, and you are not eligible for hire at that point. Okay. Another thing that we get asked a lot is because we operate non-CDL and CDL qualified drivers. Every CDL qualified drivers understands the DOT physical rules and regulations for them. Otherwise, their CDL is not active. Every CDL qualified driver, regardless of whether or not you're a Class A or a B, you have to have a valid DOT physical for the most part. I do know that there are some states, if you don't go out of the state, sometimes you're not required to have that. But for us, anybody that works with us is going to be required to have a valid DOT physical. That will be included also, even if you are in one of our non-CDL categories. We will not hire a driver that cannot at least pass a DOT physical. It's just our standard policy on that, and it also, you're crossing state lines, so you're going to have it regardless. We've already been down the driver's license suspensions. We got on here that it's going to be 8 years. However, some of that can be a little bit flexible depending on what the license suspension was for. We live in a day of age right now where we have some people who actually lose their license because of child support. That's not something that's going to eliminate you for it, but if you've come back and you said you were drinking and driving or something like that and you lost your license, typically you're not even going to be eligible for hire at that point. But we make it a valid point that you're just typically that's what we're looking for. Okay. Of course, you need to have a great work ethic.
Explain that more to me.
Work ethic. You want to know how that is?
Well, I know. I mean, you're a driver. What kind of work ethic are you talking?
Okay, so what we're getting to at that point on a work ethic is, number one, first and foremost, we expect you got to understand the career that you're coming into. Okay, so you're coming into it as a driver. All right, we're looking for people who are looking to be out on the road for at least 5 days at a time. Ideally, we want somebody out for 14 days or what you would call a 21-day turn. We also want somebody that is, because we primarily do a lot of flatbed freight, we want somebody that's, can handle rigging and tarping and throwing chains and climbing up on trailers, and they're going to be physically able to do something like that. It's incredibly dangerous for somebody who's not physically fit to be able to do something like that.
Have you ever fallen off a trailer, Dan?
I have fallen off a trailer, and it's not fun, and it hurts like hell. Okay. I've slipped on trailers before. I've had a binder snap, and
that hurts.
That hurts. That
I
hurts.
took one to the leg one time.
Yeah, that hurts. So, and one of the most important that the girls are always going to sit there and tell you is, you need to have good time management. You need to be able to tell the ladies an accurate time. We understand that things happen out on the road, but you've got to make sure that you're letting everybody understand and know, what's going on. And we build on committed time frames. We like giving our customers specific times when we're going to arrive, when we're going to pick up, and to us, that's incredibly important. We do not like working with drivers who have poor time management skills. this is an industry where we fight for everything that we have and everything that we get, and each and every one of our employees that are associated with our company, they follow those principles. We have to be on time. We have to be able to make sure that we arrive when we say we will. And if we run into an issue, okay, that's fine. We make arrangements. But as a driver, that's something that we require and we need to have out of every single one of our guys. It's very, in my opinion, it's something that shouldn't even have to be said, but it is what it is. Okay. And that, as far as driver qualifications, is pretty much standard. Of course, there's going to be a few other things that we're going to have to deal with, but all in all, I that's pretty much covering everything in a pretty much of a quick rundown. Okay. Sorry, I got to take this over here. Yeah, Casey, you're great about being on time, man. I'm telling you, you do a really good job, and I appreciate it 100%. You're freaking phenomenal when it comes to that.
How you doing, Don? I see that. Thanks, Steve. Really appreciate that. The feeling's mutual.
How's it going, Steve-O?
How many times you gonna call Dan today, Steve?
Okay. All right, so now we're going to move on to our required types of equipment that we're looking for, okay? Yeah, time management is very crucial, Don. I cannot stress that more. Time management is incredibly valuable in this industry, especially for the hotshot trucks. And this is what a lot of people, and I know I'm reverting back to this, and I kind of want to keep this, into an hour-long session at the most. But I can't reiterate this. Time, Don is exactly right. Time is so critical in this industry. Number one, we're fighting with the larger trucks, okay? And we've got to show value for our type of equipment. If you cannot be on time and you cannot do what you say you're going to do, that is incredibly bad on our company and you as a driver. We are fighting for everything, every penny that we've got to do, that we have. And the drivers need to understand, look, it's okay to be late. That's not what we're saying. But give a realistic time frame. Like, don't sit there and tell everybody you want to arrive at a destination at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you end up showing up at 7 that night. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for guys who can give us an accurate time, somewhat reasonable in expectation, and then be able to work it from there. Okay? Like I said, we understand things happen out on the road. No problem. But we need to make those arrangements, and we need to have that communication with our customers. That is so important in our industry, and we've got to have it. Okay? All right, so now we're going to move on to our required equipment qualifications. Now, again, this is just a template that we work off of. There are some exceptions to this rule depending on, the actual appearance of the truck and miles and stuff like that. But overall, we're looking for equipment that is a 2006 and newer. Okay, guys? Typically what happens is if you go below 2006, you have to have some sort of a threshold. But what ends up taking place is you have a lot of trucks and equipment that are out there that are they have way too many miles on them. They're not taken care of. They're dented up. We want to make sure that we've got some sort of an image that we're trying to uphold. And that's not to say that every 2005 or 2003 is going to be junk. That's not what I'm saying. But ideally, we're looking for a 2006 and newer, because most of the time, if you get higher mileage, you're going to have a lot of problems with downtime. You're going to have a lot of problems with breakdowns, unless it's had an in-frame or something like that. Now, this is for hotshot equipment. I am fully aware that if you're bringing a semi or a Class 8 unit to the fleet,
A Billy Big Rigger,
look, I understand that those things can go for millions of miles, provided that they've got in-frames and all that other kind of jazz on them. Right now, we're currently just set up for running hotshot rigs. That's not to say we won't go into semis, but That's just how it is right now. Okay.
We gotta take baby steps.
There's baby steps. That's right, guys. Baby steps. And we've got drivers on our fleet right now that honestly, they've come from semis and they don't want to go back into a semi. You know, if you want to speak up, guys, sorry about that, Casey. Sorry, bub. Thanks for letting me know. But if you guys want to speak up and say who has actually ran a semi before and they don't want to do it anymore, you're more than welcome to speak up. But I'm not going to call you guys out because I think that's something that you guys need to let people know about.
So, any of you guys got any questions about what we've talked about yet?
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions about anything that I've got here or that we've addressed? Take a minute here and let the.
Why don't you play some of your music for a minute?
I can't.
You can't.
I can't.
Your choices of music sucked anyway.
I know they did. It's all right. That's the way it is.
It sounded like old style porn music from like the 60s and 70s.
So anybody got anything they want to elaborate on? Don, is there something you want to mention about our equipment or any of our driver qualifications?
Casey said he ran a semi and he prefers a hot shot.
Yeah. And quite honestly, he has mentioned that to me on several different occasions. I think one of these days that may be one of the topics of why somebody would want to come from a semi into a hot shot. I get that question asked a lot, and I know what the answer is, but I think that would be a good conversation to have back and forth with several of our. We have 3 drivers. If you guys want to, yeah, we could probably do something like that. Don, yeah, we could probably. So Casey, just briefly, being that you're listening to this, why would you just really short, just in a try to maybe a 2-sentence? Why do you prefer the hot shot rather than the semi? Just real quick.
Don, I try to plan on being on here more often. I know tonight was the first night. Dan put me on a limited basis.
To be honest with you, you kind of scare me being here, bub, because you're just one of those types of guys.
I know, you're shaking like a whore in church right now. Like a dog shitting razor blades.
Casey, are you gonna try to answer that, or should I move on?
We lost a viewer. What's up?
Oh man, who did we lose?
Too much, bub.
It's probably Steve. Steve, you still there?
He's probably petting his dog.
That is a good point, Don. We do have less waiting time overall in general when we're running hot shots compared to running the semis. But that's not necessarily the case in every event. It would have to depend on the setup, what they've got going on. But that is definitely a valid point.
Casey asked if trucks and trailers are supplied.
Okay, we'll get to that here in a minute, Casey. As far as the trucks and trailers supplied, some cases they can be, and other cases they're not. It just depends. But we'll definitely touch base on that.
So Steve, I want to be a man Welch, says, how about touching on the pandemic? How about the effects of industry? How it affects us and how we are working and around it, and how we're working with our drivers during these difficult times.
Okay, that is actually a very good question, Steve. For us, the pandemic. Let me bring us back here on the scene. The pandemic hit us pretty hard. It hit us pretty hard. Now, some people throughout the pandemic didn't get hit hard that bad, and that was very. That was very equipment specific. During the pandemic, well, we're still in the pandemic, so I don't know why we're saying during the pandemic. We still actually are. In fact,
Man, you need to get a faster camera.
it's delayed because I have it set up that way.
Okay.
You got to realize that's not what's going on right now. This is.
Yeah. All right.
So.
Sorry for the interruption.
That's fine. The pandemic affected us pretty decently. We're actually playing recovery. We're actually recovering pretty well right now for it. What are you hitting?
You just talk. I'm typing.
Well, you got to click on this thing to do that. The pandemic, it hit us pretty good bad because we were very. Some of our customers were hit a little bit harder than what they should have been, and it was because the states shut everything down. I can go into a little bit more detail on it a little bit later. I don't want to spend a whole period of the whole session here going over something like that. But some people were hit a lot harder than others, and we got hit pretty good with the pandemic. But we're seeing massive increases, and we are recovering big time right now. So we're going to save that conversation for a little bit of a later time.
But we're picking up.
We're picking up big time.
Even though I'm not part of the company, but we're picking up.
But you can see it though.
Oh yeah, I've seen it on a daily basis when I stop down.
Yeah, when you stop by, you're definitely seeing a massive difference from what we were.
The phone calls are just a rolling in like a radio station.
Would be, yeah, for the most part. So, oh, and by the way, just to let everybody know, typically our phones get shut off at 5 o'clock. We're having technical difficulties. They were supposed to be turned all the way on, but if you're trying to call the office after hours,
we lost another viewer.
Yeah, we didn't lose one. They're still there. So, but we had a little bit of a technical difficulty on it. So we're going to get the phones back up, and eventually we're going to take calls, live calls, while it's all going on. What?
The board.
What about the board?
You erased it again.
We did, yes.
Who's we?
That would be Leanne.
Leanne did not do it.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
Yeah. So.
Leanne would not.
Anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on here. We're at 6:35. Got to get going.
Casey says, I like Hot Shot better because I seem to make more money in Hot Shot. My in and out times at customers are faster.
Again, for the most part, it can be. A lot of people like to talk a lot of numbers. I have a strict policy of not talking numbers with people. One of the reasons that we don't talk numbers is simply because I feel as though that it's very unprofessional. My deal with a customer is going to be different than somebody else's, and you should never put that in the same category. There's a lot of drivers who would disagree with that. I don't care. That is something that I just have a strict policy on. We do not talk about rates. Even the drivers know that is one of my pet peeves. We do not talk about rates. We do not get involved in truck stop talk. We just don't do it.
And we don't talk about lot lizards.
And we definitely don't talk about lot lizards. That's right. So, definitely. So, anyways, thanks for bringing that up, Casey. Yeah, there's a lot of people who enjoy them. Yeah. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on with the qualifications. Let me go ahead and switch back over here to, we don't even need to switch back. I don't know why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
There's really no point, right?
It's rookie mistake.
It's a rookie mistake. Sorry, guys. Like I said, it's the first time.
We're still working out the jitterbugs.
Working out the jitterbugs.
I probably won't be allowed after tonight.
Actually, You're not doing as bad as what I thought you would.
Oh, I can get bad.
You're right, Don. They really do, and driver can really make as much money as what he wants. But that goes without saying. There's a lot of times there's a cap. There's no matter what industry that you work, you're always going to have some sort of a cap that you can. There's going to be something. There's always going to be that wall that you can't get above. You always try to push that wall further, but the fact of the matter is you definitely need to have. There's always going to be a limit to that, what you can actually earn. We like it to be fairly high, and we like all of our drivers to make, really good money no matter what. But a lot of it's going to be dependent on what you put in. If you're not putting anything into it, you're not going to make as much money as the next guy. That's just how this industry works. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and move on. We were at the required equipment.
Dan, you're doing a great job, but you sound like an old freaking English teacher right now.
Do I
You
really?
need to spice it up a little bit.
Okay. Steven says, explain what programs we have to help the new drivers. Well, we'll get there. Bub says I need to spice it up, so I don't. What do you want? How do you want me to spice it up? What do you want?
You're like spending 5 minutes on one sentence on your page there.
You're right.
I mean, they're reading it as we're going along.
I'm nervous.
Well, it's okay. You've been on for 38 minutes. The nervousness should be gone.
No, it's not because I'm afraid I'm screwing something up.
I think you're doing perfectly fine.
All right. So here we go.
But
All
just
right.
speed it up.
We're going to speed it up.
You got 20 minutes.
I got 20 minutes to get through this. But there's no time limit. That's all right. That's probably my wife calling.
It is. I gotta take this. Hold on.
All right. Well, now that he's out, now I don't have him breathing up my neck. All right, so we're going to move on. We've already touched on the equipment needs to be a 2006. It has to be a diesel engine. You can legally do this with a gasoline truck, but the problem you run into is you start running into a lot more maintenance issues. So we've got a strict policy. We just don't mess with any. We don't mess with any gasoline motors. It has to be a diesel truck. Trailer wise, if you're a non-CDL, it's got to be at least a 15,000 gross vehicle, a GVRW trailer. And we don't accept derated equipment. I know there's a lot of guys out there right now that are trying to derate their trailers just to get into it. You can legally do that. I'm not saying that you can't. However, what you end up running into is on a company level, you actually run into a liability issue if the driver was to get into an accident and it was asked to be derated. And that's the reason why we don't accept it. It is what it is, but we just don't accept derated equipment. Okay? All the equipment that we work with, and the reason why we've got this on here is it must be able to run an electronic logging device. The reason why we have that on there is, as a fleet, we set things up for a specific reason, and we expect all of the drivers to have the same group of rules. We do not want to bring on somebody who's got a 94 Peterbilt, and then he's got to run paper logs. It's just, for us, it doesn't work, and that's the reason why we're requiring everybody to be able to run an ELD. It just, for us, it saves a lot of back office work that I don't want to go into, but it helps out tremendously. Okay. If you are leasing to us, we do require you to have an annual inspection done on your equipment at least 2 weeks prior to signing your lease. It's just, we want to make sure the equipment that we're bringing into the fleet is actually going to be properly maintained and done. Okay. And then, of course, we're running a scale ticket for the power unit and the trailer. As far as the benefits, okay, so here's some of the big ones, and we just brought these out this year. Some people...
Bonuses!
Well, we'll get to bonuses in a little bit, but as far as our benefits that we offer, okay, so One of the biggest things that I've always stressed upon anybody that's ever worked with me is I want to offer you the ability to grow with our company. That is one of the most important things that I think that any company in general can be able to offer any of their employees or their contractors. Okay, and it's very important. Um, Eventually, you don't. For some of the drivers that are watching, you don't want to be a driver forever. You want to be able to actually excel in the company, have other places and opportunities to be able to go to and explore. FLQ Transportation Group is a group of carriers. Currently, right now, we're two carriers and one brokerage. I know some people don't want to deal with brokerage and they don't like brokerage, but it is what it is. Okay. Um, but anyways, let's go with some of the benefits that we offer. Okay, so for our non-CDL drivers, okay, we want to be able to offer you a scenario where you can actually get your CDL or your Class A CDL. It's important to us. Not only does it give you something to actually grow into, but it also gives you the ability to excel at something else. And we want you to be able to move forward in the company. Okay. All right. So in order to apply, in order to get to qualify for our CDLA tuition program, all right, we will offer up to $4,500 for your CDL class to go to an actual trucking school of your choice, but we only cover up to 4,500. It depends on the state that you're located in. It's going to depend on how much it's going to cost. There are some states that actually offer this program regardless of whatever, I know Michigan offers it. I think Indiana offers something similar to this, or they offer some sort of I don't know what you would call it.
Spit it out. Come on.
Some sort of state funded money to be able to get you into a CDL program. But in order to qualify for ours, and this sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not. Okay. You must be an active driver for FLQ Transportation Group or its subsidiaries for a period of 12 months. Okay, so you've got to be an active driver for us for at least 12 months and or generate a gross revenue of $300,000 within a 24 months of the driver's start date. Okay? And have no violations or tickets within the first 90 days. It's pretty simple. You've got to be able to generate the revenue, and in order to generate that revenue, you deserve something as a kickback to get that CDL, and that's fair. Or you're able to get a tuition program with a committed contracted term of employment for 24 months. And what you have to agree to is a full refund plus administrative charges of $2,200 to FLQ Transportation Groups or subsidiaries if the contract is broken. So what that basically means is if you want to get your CDLA before that time, okay, and you want to sign a committed contract of employment, we will upfront you the money to be able to make that happen. Okay, but you have to understand you are going to be charged if you terminate your contract early. All right, it's as simple as that. Okay, our trailer rental programs. Now this is kind of moving on. Trailer rental programs are 40 footers, 26,000 GVW our trailer air ride for the most part. You can rent them for around $250 a week. Okay. Some of the older ones you can get a little bit cheaper than that, but that's pretty standard. Your 36 foot, 15K GVWR trailers, you're looking at $100 a week. We've got in there 53 foot step decks. We do have access to them. We don't currently have any of them right now, but we know what costs we're going to be able to have for them, and they run about $350 a week. As far as our maintenance escrow for all trailers, we typically look at about 4 cents per mile for an maintenance for your maintenance. And you can utilize that. You can utilize that maintenance out of that escrow that is available. So it's not that we get to keep that escrow all the time, but that 4 cents per mile is actually used for the maintenance of that trailer to make sure it gets done. Okay. You need to read that because
I read it.
Okay.
I read it.
Okay. We also offer a trailer lease purchase program. Typically, it's going to be on a used equipment, though. We don't have any new equipment for that as of yet. We are working on some suppliers to be able to make that a reality, though. And we do have several suppliers that is definitely interested in working with us to be able to make this lease purchase program available. But typically what's going to happen is we're going to expect 10% down. It's going to be broken down in a 36-month term, and then you're going to have to maintain a 4 cent per mile maintenance escrow. Okay. Yeah. Now, as far as trucks, we do offer a program for rental and leasing options for our trucks. Okay. We do have a company that works with us pretty regularly on this. And as of right now, we work off of a base rate of $16.34 per month, and that gives us 8,000 miles to work with. The mileage overage charge is going to be at 22 cents per mile over your 8,000 miles, and you have to maintain a damage deposit of $1,500. Casey does bring up a good point. He's interested in purchasing his own truck and trailer. And would he have help purchasing that if he elected to do so? The short answer of that is yes. However, there would have to be certain situations that we'd have to evaluate before we could give you a straight up yes or no answer.
Is Casey one of your drivers?
Casey is.
Okay.
It's not something we're actually looking at several different options to be able to make that happen for each one of the drivers.
Was he the one at the 4th of July party?
He is, yes.
The EMT?
No. We are working on financing options or being able to offer that solution to the drivers if they elect to go down that road as far as purchasing outright your own trucks. We do have several functions of that already figured out, but we have to be able to put things together, a few more things together to make that a reality. And we don't want to push that at this time, because if we don't get the two next steps to be able to make that a reality, basically it all falls apart. So we're working on it. It is definitely something that we may be able to do at a later time. But as far as the truck, as of right now, we can't do anything in regards to the truck. The trailer, though, is a different story. We can make that a reality, and that is definitely something that we can do. We offer gross revenues bonuses, and this is something a lot of you guys, we just started this program this month, and you guys will start seeing that come into effect. Any of the non-CDL guys will start receiving an additional 3% in additional pay if you gross over $3,400 per week with no violations for that week. Okay, that is going to apply for all of our contractors and owner operators. It is going to be straight across the board. So if you're a non-CDL, and we will designate you a non-CDL or whatever, we'll designate it, and then if you gross over $3,400 a week for that pay period, you will get an additional 3% added to your pay. That's going to be regardless of whether or not you're one of our owner operators or whether or not you're considered one of our company trucks. Okay? Period. Our CDL A hotshot drivers, again, this is going to be in the same category. It's going to be across the board regardless of whether or not you're an owner operator or a driver. Okay? That's going to be an additional 3% if you gross over $4,300. Now, here's the deal. If you are a Class A CDL hotshot driver and you are running a 40-foot float, in our opinion, you should never be below this number. This number should be something that you should be able to get and achieve every single week. Now, we do understand that there's some that don't, but in our eyes, you should easily be able to do this every single week. It's just, you should be able to do it. You have the equipment to do it. It's just whether or not that you want to push that envelope. And a lot of your home time is going to depend on that. but you should be able to hit that number. Okay. Of course, then if we're we're leasing on a CDL semi driver, the semi driver is going to get a 5% additional pay if he grosses over $5,400 per week with no violations, and this means no violations. Okay, that also means you're on your EDL or EDL metrics, all of that stuff. There's no violations. You got to be clean, and you have to have no problems with anything, and you'll get those bonuses. All right. Quite honestly, I think $5,400 a week for a Class 8 truck or a semi is pretty low. There should be no reason why a semi at any given time,
I agree,
should never be below $5,400 a week.
That is very low. That is low balling.
It's a pretty low figure.
That's balls dragging concrete right there.
It is. It's you.
Someone with the guy trying to hash money out with you. I really feel
at $5,400 a week, if you're not able to do $5,400 a week on a Class 8 semi, I believe you're probably going broke. And
I don't even know if you can cover fuel costs.
Well, you'd be able to cover fuel costs, but when it comes to all your maintenance, you're not eating very well at $5,400. Not for a semi. It's a completely different setup.
You'll be eating in the dumpsters at the truck stop.
Pretty much. So. All right, moving along. We've got 6 minutes here. Hopefully I can get through this somewhat fairly quickly. If we've got to take a few more minutes after, we will, but I'm trying to get this done. I'm trying to get this done in 6 minutes, in the remainder of the time here. Okay.
We're going over. We're going into OT.
We probably
We're going to be like the Eagles and Bengals. We're going to OT, and we're
Wait
going
a
to
minute.
tie.
Whoa. Let's not talk about the Eagles this year.
What?
No.
No.
The Eagles don't even need to be brought into this equation.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
No, yeah, they're flying all right. Right over a cliff.
Eagles.
Right over a cliff.
And we're taking down them Giants tonight.
Whatever.
Now you got me fired and wired.
All right. Okay. So, as far as as far as our driver referral bonuses, each one of our drivers, no matter who you are, there is no cap to this, guys. I want this to be very, very clear. There is no cap to this. You can make a full level career over just doing nothing but being a recruiter and a referral for our company. Okay, doesn't matter. All right. In fact, some of you guys that have just started coming into the industry and that you're starting to work with us. Most of our recruiters are working off of this principle, okay? So our drivers get this, all right? There is a driver referral bonus of $1,000, and again, there is not a cap, okay? However, the driver that you refer needs to make sure that they meet our criteria, okay? Now, in order to get this, all right, you have to have no violations or tickets within your first 90 days, okay? And they need
Is that 90 days of driving or 90 days period?
That's 90 days period.
Okay.
And they must generate a gross revenue. Now, this is gross numbers. This isn't bring home numbers. This is gross revenues of $45,000 within the first 120 days. So if you guys do this, okay, and as long as that driver generates a gross revenue of $45,000, you are going to get your referral bonus, even if the guy has a violation within his first 90 days. Okay, let me rephrase that again. Okay, if you refer a driver that comes into our facility,
ooh, we're up to 9 now, Dan.
I know, hot dog.
We're getting live.
If you refer a driver that comes into our company, all right, and they're a quality driver, all right, and even if they have, let's say they have a little blemish on an inspection, all right, even if they fail that in their first 90 days, as long as that driver grosses a minimum of $45,000 within the first 120 days, that's 3 months, guys, 3 months, you're going to get your driver referral bonus. Okay? Simple as that. All right, now we're going to move on to our driver safety bonuses. Now this is for safety. This is for anybody who goes through level 1 inspections, 2, 3, whatever type of inspection that you go through out on the road, okay? All right, you're going to get $100 for every clean DOT inspection. That's every inspection you go through. There is no cap. It's every inspection, all right? Now, there's something that we just started we're going to have company random inspections. All right. How's it going, Mr. White? Good seeing you. We're going to have $100 company random inspections. Now, this is something we just started doing, and the reason why we started doing this...
Is Mr. White going to give us a $2 holla?
No, we're not going down that road. Okay, so we just started doing the company random inspections, and here is why. We're getting ready to build our shop. All right?
Oh, yeah, the shop.
We're getting ready to build the shop. The shop is going to be going up, and this is going to be something that we're going to make sure that everybody knows that I'm a person who wants to keep everybody safe. There is no
Ooh, Tina's on. How you doing, Tina?
Hey, Tina.
Long time no see. Keep talking about your shop.
All right. So we're going to be building a shop. We feel it's very important for us as a company to be able to move forward and to be able to grow. And we want you guys to be able to do that with us. And the shop is going to be an integral part of that to make that happen. Okay?
It's going to be very clean with my janitorial skills.
It's going to be incredibly clean, and we're going to make sure that our trucks have all.
Don't stop talking. You can talk and read at the same time.
Yes, you are a pro for getting through DOT inspections, Casey. Thank you very much for doing a great job at that. And thank you, Curtis. And thank you, Jeff, for this week. Wait a minute. Curtis didn't go through an inspection this week, but Jeff did.
I got the hay.
Yeah. Don't let it go to your head, okay? It'll be all right. Don't let it go to your head. All right.
Hey, Tina, hey.
Okay, so moving on. All right, so now we've got our monthly driver assessment. Now, the monthly driver assessment, okay, is going to be off of our ELD matrix, okay? This is what's going to determine who is our best driver on the fleet. And every driver is going to be entered in this. Now, there's criteria that you got to meet in order to be entered into this every single month. Number one, you have to have perfect inspections throughout the whole entire month. That goes for your company random, if you get pulled in for your company random inspection, and all of your DOT inspections. All right? And you have to have the best safety rating according to our ELD matrix, and then you will get your $500 bonus. It's a $500 bonus, boys. $500. $500.
That's like the price is perfect on the prices.
I think it's a fairly good incentive, and that's done on a monthly basis. So every month, typically on the first of every month, unless it's the weekend, we're going to go through that, and we'll probably do it live. I don't know if we're going to do it live because there's a lot of guys who don't want that information posted.
I wouldn't.
I think it's something that we'll make a mention of it, but other than actually letting them know exactly who it was, I don't think we're going to do that.
I think what you do is say, hey, I had one driver, hey, I had two drivers, but no names.
Yeah. So, and then finally, we've got our fuel card program. Everybody touts a decent fuel card program. I think our fuel card program is fairly decent. I've actually been recently contacted by a few additional fuel card programs. They may be able to offer us a little bit better than what we're currently getting, but as of right now, I think our fuel card setup is actually pretty good. Up to a 50 cent per gallon off on the fuel card. That's actually pretty reasonable. There are some cards that can get up to...
And we're 50 seconds over.
There are some companies who can get a little bit better than that, but as of right now, those are pretty good. Our fuel card is virtually used at anywhere in the nation. There are a couple of places that we can't use it at, but for the most part, if they sell diesel fuel and it's considered more of a truck stop, they're going to accept it. Okay. On our fuel card program, any non-CDL driver, non-CDL and CDL hotshot driver, they're allowed up to $300 a day in fuel. I know that differs from a lot of other companies where they basically give you basically a certain allowance of like $150 a day. And then there are also some guys, some hotshot carriers and carriers out there that don't even offer any upfront money to get you going.
Oh, Curtis wrote something there for you about your fuel swiping. Smart.
Yeah, we think it's a pretty good program. I really do like our fuel card program. There's some tweaks we need to do to it, and we're working on it. But overall, I think it's incredible. I think it works out really well, and we haven't had too many issues out of it for the most part. I think it really has turned out pretty good. Yeah, if you use the fuel card app, it actually works out really good, and you can save some serious money. You really honestly can, and it works out really, really good. So, okay. Now, if there's any changes to our fuel, well, we'll go ahead and go to a semi. On a semi, we're set up on a $600 a day allowance for semi. Some cases that may be enough, other cases that may not. We'll evaluate it when it comes time to be able to do something like that. But as of right now, most semis that come into the end, that's going to come over to us, it's going to have about a $600 a day allowance on it. It doesn't necessarily mean you get to use all of that, but for the most part, that's what's going to go. Now, here's my commitment to you. No matter what fuel card program that we use and that we offer to any one of our employees or contractors, okay, we will give a 7-day notification if anything changes with your fuel card. All right. I feel as though that this is it's incredibly important. And the reason why is because if you've been in the industry a while, you understand that a lot of companies change their fuel card programs on a whim of a hat, and it leaves drivers stranded. And that's not something that we ever want to have happen with our company. I don't want to have that happen with our company.
Move tapping, sorry.
We understand that drivers need to rely on that fuel card to make it happen. Now, if you're a disgruntled driver and there's some issues that we are very aware about, then what we'll do is we'll evaluate that, but we're still going to let you know. Say, hey, Johnny or whoever you are, look, we understand that you've got some grievances with us, and et cetera, et cetera. We need to make sure that we're just going to let you know that by the end of the day, your fuel card is going to be turned off. So you need to make sure you get enough fuel to do what you need to do. But we will always, this is my commitment to any driver that we will ever work with, no matter how ticked off we are at you, no matter how upset the driver is with us, we will always make sure that you have fuel to fuel your truck. We will make sure that happens. I don't understand why other companies don't do it, but we will make sure that takes place. Okay? All right? We're going into the financial portion plates. This is going to be for the guys who are actually the CDL qualified drivers who are running the 40-foot floats. Typically, all of those are going to be financed. And what we mean by being financed, typically to run a portion plates on a CDL qualified hotshot truck, typically we're going to apportion you for about $38,000. That will be a 1-ton truck with a 40-foot float running 12K axles. Typically we're going to apportion you for about 38,000 pounds. Typically that's going to run about $700, depending on what cycle of the year that you're in. It can be a little bit less, but for about a year it runs about 700 and change. For a semi, I think the last calculation that we did was somewhere in the neighborhood of around 1,700. If somebody can check up on that for me, Curtis, you probably would know more about that than what I would. Is that right? I'll get back with you on that, but I think it's around 1,700, 1,700 to 1,800 a year for a semi, and then you have to worry about your heavy highway use tax and so on and so forth. Okay, that also brings up another point as far as IFTA. Included in our pricing to IFTA, we normally take care of all of your overage fuel taxes, provided that you get and you maintain records, a pretty good record of your fuel transactions. Look, it's not going to hurt the company to pay $100 in fuel tax for a driver. Okay. However, if you are a problem child and you do not want to give us your receipts and maintain accurate records like you should be doing to begin with, we're going to come back and we're going to charge you for your IFTA taxes. Okay. But overall, in general, if you maintain the proper record keeping and you give us everything that we're asking you to do, for the most part, we are not going to come back onto you for your fuel taxes. That's just something I feel as though that's a company's responsibility that can take care of. And that's just my opinion about it. When it comes to the semi trucks, I do know that runs a little bit of a different story because they operate on a different. It's not a different, but they go through so much more fuel based upon the jurisdiction that they're in. We're actually not doing anything right now, and and we'll worry about that at a later time. That's not something that we're going to get into right now. But we will address that whenever we start working with the Class 8 run. Okay. All right. So when our shop gets up, we're also going to offer trailer maintenance for every single contractor that is with us. That is whether or not that we own the equipment. That is whether or not we own the equipment, or whether or not you're a leased operator that is bringing your equipment in. This is going to apply for every single contractor that we have. Does not matter whether or not we own the equipment or not. Okay. Now the hourly rate is going to be something for emergency purposes only. Okay, and that's going to be like for like Sunday morning or whatnot, and we'll work on the rate. Okay, we currently right now we've got it set at $65 an hour. We're going to go through and we're going to inspect your trailer. So what we're going to work on is we're going to try to make sure that each and every one of our trailers are 100%, which they should already be, but we're going to have a on-hand mechanic. That mechanic is going to look over every single trailer that comes into the yard, whether it's our trailer or whether it's one of our leased operators. We're going to make sure that we are safe running down the road. I don't care about nothing else. I want you to come home to your families every night or every week or every other week or however long you stay out. I want you to be safe going up and down the roads. There is no exceptions whatsoever. I want you safe. If we find something wrong with your trailer, we want to fix it and we want to get onto it like right now. No questions asked. And I will have several of the guys come in here that actually pull our equipment, and they will come back and they will tell you right now, Curtis, you're one of them, Casey, you're the other. You will know that anytime you address a situation or a problem with any of our equipment, it is taken care of virtually immediately. And if you don't feel that way, I want you to speak up and let them know now. I want to make sure that everybody is safe and they have a way to get back to their families when they decide to come home. Okay? All right? We're working on a trailer interchange, which basically means that if your trailer goes down for an extended period of time, all you have to do is just swap into another trailer and you work it. All right. We're working on that. There's a few things we've got to work out, the kinks on it, but we're going to work on that. Okay. Anybody that rents one of our trailers, they're going to go into there's going to be an hourly rate that's going to be waived for the mileage scheduled for your scheduled mileage maintenance. Okay. Any of you guys that know who I am and have worked with me for quite some time, you know that all of our 15 GM trailers, typically I tell you anywhere between 30 and 40,000 miles, you need to work on your bearings and your brakes. They need to be done. As far as the 26 and 25 GM trailers, typically we're looking at about 80 to 90,000 miles. And most generally, we're going to swap out those bearings and brakes, and we're going to make sure you don't have any issues going down the road. Okay, that's just something that we need to do. For our contractors that bring their equipment to us, we're going to try to keep a minimal inventory of parts for you guys. Most of the trailer axles that are coming in these days, most generally, when we're dealing with the trailers, okay, we want to be able to make sure that you get yourself back up and operational as fast as possible. Okay, it does no benefit to either party if you cannot get your equipment up and going again. Okay, most of the trailers these days, they all use Dexter axles for the most part. I know Load Trail, and this is speaking from the hotshot side, not into the semi tractors. But for the most part, all of your trailers are going to pretty much use Dexter axles. and we can keep a minimal stock of bearings and brakes and stuff like that in stock for you guys, so that all you have to do is swing by the office or swing by when the building gets put up, swing by the building and pick up some parts, or we can have it repaired over the weekend. Our goal when this is all set up and done for our shop is literally you bring your truck in at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. If it needs to be immediately taken care of, and that means that you've got a load on your trailer and you know you're having some sort of an issue, we want to do it that night. We're going to try to offer a 24/7 repair shop for emergency critical orders that some of our customers are in. Typically, hopefully we never run into that problem. But for the most part, things happen. And we want to be able to offer that so that it gets taken care of immediately. And I mean immediately. We want to make sure you're up, safe, running, and we want to make sure we take care of our customers, period. There's nothing more important than driver safety, equipment safety, and taking care of our customers. Those are the three things that I value and I want to make sure that we take care of all the time, period. All right? And then finally, we just started this, and I think this is kind of important. We live in 2020, and this is something that I feel that we need to start really focusing on pretty hard. Now, I do understand that some of the guys are not going to want to do something like that, and that's okay. We're not forcing anybody to do it, but I think it's incredibly important to be able to offer something like this. Not only does it do good for you, it helps you make more money, but it also puts a direct reflection on our company, and it helps us grow. Okay. Now you can use this also in combination with our referral fees, or that are for our referral bonuses. Like I said, guys, there is no limit on your referral bonuses. If you bring 100 guys into our company and they all meet that criteria, you can make $100,000. It's that seriously, just offer referral bonuses. Okay. All right. So we're going into our social media and marketing bonuses. Now, this is something that you can earn $150 a week, provided that you are doing this. Now, you've got to follow these rules very, very carefully, because number one, FLQ Transportation Group needs to own all of the channels that you're going to be posting to. All right. We have to be the sole owners of it. And there are reasons why. I don't want to get into those reasons here, but we need to make sure we control that content that's going onto those channels. Okay. Any videos or photographs are going to be the property of FLQ Transportation Group and its subsidiaries. Now, that's not to say that you can't take those videos and you can't use them for some of your personal stuff. You just have to have written permission from us to be able to do so. I do not want to get in. There are a bunch of reasons why, but to basically make things simple is, in this industry, you got to deal with disgruntled drivers, and if they've got too big of a voice where they can go and badmouth the company, it could be bad. So we still need to be able to control that. Okay. All right, so you'll get your social media bonus provided that these are met, okay? You need to upload at least 2 videos per week, okay? And the videos must be in duration of at least 16 minutes in length, okay? All videos must meet the approval of FLQ Transportation Group, all right? And there is, I cannot stress this enough, we do not allow any talk about pay, wages, or form of compensation on loads or contracts. I've already explained this. I feel as though that is so unprofessional when you're sitting there blabbering about your rates or anything else like that, okay? That is something we don't do here at this company, all right? I just don't feel it's justifiable. It's something that I just have a really big problem with. We do not talk about rates. We don't do it, okay? All videos must contain an outro and an intro that we will provide to you. And if you've watched a couple of our drivers' videos, they have the intro and they have the outro. They can pick either the intro or the outro. They don't have to have both, but they have to have one or the other so that it's showing up. And quite honestly, the videos need to contain accurate and valid informative information about transportation and trucking. I don't want you to talking about Belly Mom Sue or anything else like that. Now, what I would say is if you're a motorcycle rider, which we have a couple of guys, or somebody who rides horses, that's acceptable. We can deal with some of that. But I don't want you talking about, I don't want you to badmouth in other YouTube channels, and I definitely don't want any malicious content. I don't
politics.
I don't want to get into any politics either. Politics is something we typically, a couple of the girls and I will talk about, but as far as actually talking politics with other people, we're just not going to do it. That can be bad and it can be good, and it's just leave it off the table, okay? And then I want to have 5 high quality pictures of various loads that you've hauled for the week. And then if you do get to that point where you're having your increase in subscribers, we will increase your pay per week for that to take place. And it's $100 per level of subscribers, and the subscribers is 0 to 2,000 people. That's level 0. Anything over 2,000 subscribers, you're going to get an extra $100 per subscription. 4,000 subscribers, basically it's it basically doubles every time. And then you'll max out at your level 8 or your level 3 with 8,000 subscribers, and then you'll have your max bonus level per subscribers.
At the end.
We are finally at the end, and I'm 19 minutes over.
Jesus, history teacher.
Holy cow. What a day. How did everybody think I did? Did I do okay?
Yes, we need results. We need to know what we need to fix.
Did I do okay? Did I bore everybody to death? Did I talk on and on?
Asleep if you've seen me in
Tina,
the a couple times.
Tina, don't be running the mouth. I know it's coming. I can see it and I can feel it.
We need to get you some Pepto-Bismol for the diarrhea of the mouth.
Shut up, dude. Shut up. What did you guys think? Did it turn out okay? Is this something we're going to be able to post?
Well, we had up to 9. Now we're back down to 5.
Now we're down to 5.
You're rambling.
Because I'm rambling. Yes, Dan. Thanks, Tina. I appreciate it.
That was too nice, Tina.
That was too nice.
Is your hair pulled too tight tonight for your ponytail?
You have way more attitude than that, Tina. Come on now. Because you're the only one that spoke up.
We need more feedback.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. Are you feeling well tonight, bub? Are you feeling a lot better? Yeah, I'm going to try. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to change the mic up on the next time where it's not going to be.
I might just have to take the mic away from him.
Well, I went over my time and it's a violation. Thanks a lot, Curtis. You know what? That brings up a good point. Somebody that we just recently spoke to, somebody went over, because of a certain infraction, somebody went over a little bit of their time this week. I don't want to go into a lot of detail, and I don't want to say who it was, but you know who it is. You know who it is. So, anyways, guys, hey, I appreciate everybody sticking it out tonight. Thanks a lot for getting through the nervousness. I do appreciate it. It means a lot. I appreciate it.
Pass it on.
And yeah, you guys need to make sure you guys pass it along. This is something, to be very frank, we're going to try and do this every Thursday. And I want you guys, as far as anybody who's doing the recruiting.
Is that your mom?
Who?
That commented.
No.
Bub is on my chair.
Yes, you are.
Is that your mom?
It could be.
Oh.
It could be. Anyhow.
Sandra.
Sandra.
I'll wipe it down.
Okay, so here's the one thing I want you guys to understand, okay? We're going to try to do this every Thursday is what I'm trying to shoot for. Play with the audio. Oh, okay, I am kind of quiet, so I probably need to bring it up a little bit closer to me or turn up the gain. Is this getting any better, Casey? I know there's a delay on it.
You got to have it almost up to your mouth.
I don't think I have to have it. Yeah, I hear you, Curtis. I hear you. All right, so we're going to try to do this every week. I'm going to try to do it at 6 p.m. every week. I don't want to go into too much detail, but we may not be able to do it next week. And the reason being is because I've got some family issues. We'll just leave it at that.
But I can be here.
We're not letting Bub run the show. No way in hell.
Oh, come on.
No way in hell.
Come on.
But we're going to try to do this every week. I definitely don't want to take it as long as what this one has went. And hopefully I'll be a little bit better prepared for next time.
Next week, be more free-based, talking more instead of...
Well, we're gonna put down a we're gonna actually have talking points that we're gonna actually do instead of coming into it a little bit blind. So, but all in all, guys, hey, I'm gonna cut this short. Yeah, Bub runs the show. He is pretty funny, isn't he?
Oh, you just made my night, Tina.
Oh my God!
Now my Eagles can get a victory.
No, your Eagles aren't going. They're going to crash.
Who's with me? Are the Eagles going to get a victory?
They're flying. Curtis, that sounds good.
Do we have any other NFL fans out there?
No, we're not talking about NFL right now.
They're all standing up for the flag.
All right. Anyways, guys, hey, again, I appreciate you guys' time tonight. Thanks a lot for showing up. Guys, if you have anybody that wants to get to know our company and you want to share this, please share it. Send it to anybody that you're trying to recruit right now. It just helps them get to know us and get to know me and to get to know the company. Again, guys, I appreciate it. I'm going to cut this out. And you guys all have a safe night. Be careful out there. And we'll talk to you ladies in the morning, okay? Have a good day. And
gentlemen, hey, keep them comments coming that you want me to be here if Dan's not next week, all right? We can run this show together. I can read and talk at the same time, unlike somebody else.
All right, guys.
Have a good night.
You guys have a good night. See you later.